The stars have aligned for a tremendous moment in Middle East sports, and most specifically, the Kingdom of Bahrain. The island's most celebrated fighter, a trailblazer that set off a revolution, is coming home.
Work hard, don't complain. Take it in and give it all out.
Hamza Kuhiji, truly the pride of Bahrain, returns to his land to make history. At BRAVECF 57 on March 11th, he will look to become the first ever Bahraini-born world champion in combat sports.
I was believing this thing for a long time, that I will fight for world title and I will bring the world title to Bahrain.
It could be a crowning moment on a personal level, but also the realization of years and years of hard work. When no one believed, Hamza prevailed. When no one cared, Hamza insisted. And when they came calling, he answered.
At the beginning, I didn't have any support to do martial art. It was something new in Bahrain. No one believed that anyone can do such thing in Bahrain or can compete. So everyone told me to leave it and just do it as a hobby. But now I have all the support from my friends and from my family.
The most celebrated martial artist in Bahrain, Hamza Kuhiji, has done what no other Bahraini has been able to even come close to. He has worked his way up through the ranks and into a professional world championship title fight. In front of him, there will be a massive final hurdle. Katona isn't nicknamed Superman by mistake. He's a never-stopping machine of punches, kicks, takedowns, and submissions. A fighter with a capital F. A martial artist in every sense. Katona isn't here to lay over. He's here to conquer.
I'm no stranger to fighting in my opponent's backyard, and this is no different.
I don't see anything very special, I see that he's good, but nothing that would keep me thinking what is he's gonna do. Of course, I should see what he's good at and prepare for it. But I don't see him as a better fighter than me.
But in the addition to what will be a fight between Kuhiji and Katona, lies a more sinister angle to the story. But before Hamza Kuhiji and Katona make the walk, the fiercest rivalry in Arab MMA history will be resolved.
I'm fighting someone who pretends to be a man, but unfortunately this guy is a piece of
فخر الدين أول أول نوع دقة فخر الدين راسك انكسر هولك العظم تاعك مدقدقة دمك نشر ديك شو ندير.
Middleweight world champion Mohammed Fakhreddin gets another crack at arch-rival Mohammed Saeed Malam after a controversial first fight ended in a no contest.
This decision needs to be reviewed, this decision needs to be changed, and this fight needs to be rerun.
On the line once again will be the light heavyweight championship of the world. Yet, this time, there will be a winner. There has to be. This time, there will be a champion.
I know this is my second opportunity at the belt, and I know I'm not going to miss that.
فخر الدين حضر نفسك مليح إن شاء الله هذه المرة ما خليك حتى حجة ما تلقى حتى سبب لا حكم لا لك مرة الراس إن شاء الله ربي يوفقني ونقضي عليك هذه المرة.
To understand where they're going, we must look back on where they came from. This is the path to greatness. This is the road to BRAVECF 57. Hamza Kuhiji's road to the top of the sport was far from a smooth one. Born and raised in the Kingdom of Bahrain, he had little to benefit from becoming an athlete. However, his first contact with martial arts hooked him forever. After 6 months of training, he made a decision that would change the landscape of the sport in the Middle East. He became a full-time mixed martial artist.
10 years, I never miss a day in training. I always enjoy the training. So after 6 months, I had a talk with my coach, and my coach motivated me to become a professional MMA fighter. Not just a professional MMA fighter, he told me that if I want to do it, I can do it. And that night I went home and I decided that's what I'm gonna be in my life.
With wins in the regional stage came the support of His Highness Sheikh Khalid bin Hamad Al Khalifa. It was the beginning of a martial arts revolution.
Historic night! Ladies and gentlemen, the Kingdom of Bahrain! He's taking over the MMA world!
With the birth of KHK MMA and Brave Combat Federation, Kuhiji finally had the global opportunity he craved for.
Ladies and gentlemen, for Hamza!
From a long time, I think I deserve to fight for the title because I'm undefeated as a bantamweight. I never lost as a bantamweight, and I won a lot of fights in Brave. So there is a lot of things, like even in my career, I had 2 losses, but the thing is I've been in 5-win streak, and I've beaten anyone who I faced as a bantamweight.
Well, I've known Hamza for a very long time. Obviously, the championship title shot is a well-deserved shot. He's been through all his career. He's done what he had to do. Been training very hard. I've been watching his trainings, and I think he's deserves the shot, and I hope that he will get it.
During his 6-year BRAVECF career, Hamza has fought around the world, but home is always home.
It's like I'm fighting in my home. These are not my fans. All of them are my friend and family. So fighting in Bahrain is everything for me. Like, I've always dreamt about fighting in Bahrain. And the good thing about Bahrain athletes is that we have Sheikh Nasser and Sheikh Khalid. They always sponsor them. They always help them.
My motivation to fight and get more results is the motivation to inspire more generations and make for them a way to believe that they can do more in sports in Bahrain. Not only in Bahrain, in the whole Middle East, you know. And for me to accomplish things that's never been accomplished before, that's gonna make a way for new generations and make a way for new sports and more athletes.
Enthusiastic for the push-ups.
I remember these guys.
You do?
Yes.
Nice.
Very happy you had for this school to have me. And بس الطرش بس بياخد مي.
This is fundamental thing what you have to do now.
As long as you would like.
Okay.
We can, yeah. As long as you would like them, we can give them to you for that long.
Okay.
But he hates sport now, subhanAllah. Look how he's
Maybe it was his teacher, man.
It feels very energizing and feels very, very good to get all the support from Bahrain. Everywhere I go, people are supporting me, they're motivating me. It makes me push more in the training. It makes me push more in my diet. Even off season, I always control my food. I always control my training because of how much I see young kids, I see old men, people always coming and telling me that we started martial art or we are going after our dreams after we hear you talk or we saw what you've done. So it's really good to be in Bahrain, and Bahrain they have very good people, very nice people, and they are very supportive of their countrymen.
At BRAVECF 57, a sold-out Khalifa Sports City Arena is expected to roar Hamza into battle. The man that stands in front of him feels as if this could be his undoing. Brad Superman Katona is used to the bright lights shining brighter on the other side of the cage. But now he feels that he has all the tools to put everything together and shine brighter than anyone else in BRAVECF's bantamweight division.
SBG Ireland, by way of Canada, please welcome Brad.
So this is nothing new. You know, Hamza is from Bahrain, and I am fighting in front of his hometown crowd, if you will. But as many issues as that could bring up for me, it can be equal on his end of extra pressure, you know? So for me, it all comes down to me refining myself and being prepared for any situation that comes up, you know? And that's what I've done. I've visualized it, I've prepared for it, be it them supporting me or, you know, not. Well, wanting Hamza to take me out, of course they would, you know? So I've prepared for any and all circumstances, but once that door closes, it's just him and I in there, and it'll take care of itself. I've been a martial artist my entire life, you could say. The journey all started when I was 5 years old, and as a typical Canadian, I had the choice of going into hockey, but I chose karate instead, so I did that for a number of years. Fell in love with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu under Curtis Brigham back home in Winnipeg, and you know, the ball just started rolling from there. Once I got the itch of competition, I remember my first grappling match in Steinbach, Manitoba, a small town in Manitoba where I'm from. And after that thrill, I've been chasing that since. So that evolved to boxing, kickboxing, mixed martial arts, and you know, it's been my life's journey up to this point.
A lifelong martial artist, Katona is equally motivated to bring gold back home to Ireland, where he trains out of, in Canada, his birthplace.
I'm sure Hamza is preparing as hard as ever because he wants to be the first Bahrainian world champion. You know, I'm sure that is adding pressure, but it can also add motivation. So I can't speak to that necessarily. All I know is I'm as motivated as ever, and I'm as passionate about this sport as ever, and I'm very confident in this fight, and I'm excited to showcase it. Yeah, so post sauna today. Good idea is always getting some glutamine in. It supposedly helps prevent leaky gut, I've heard. And then electrolytes. So there's the glutamine, third party tested. And here's some beta-alanine as well, because you got to dose it multiple times a day. So you might as well split it over as many drinks as you can. Good amount of fluids. Have some orange pineapple with a little bit of salt, and then you don't taste anything else. Just warming up the chicken. Temperatures matter. You know, you need warm chicken if it's on a toasted sandwich. You don't want to bite into a hot sandwich. Salt, pepper. Same thing with the mayo.
He definitely could run like a Brad's Deli. I think he could own his own sandwich shop. He puts so much love into his sandwich.
I guess most cultures, it's all big occasions. They kind of center around like a meal, you know. So that's why in my diet, that's not bad, right? Like making 61 kilos, eating a lunch like this. You make a homemade dressing made with healthy fats. And then
thank you.
Training. Measure it out.
Yeah, this is some of my favorite. I don't feel like the ultimate discomfort of leading up to a fight where, you know, you always have that 5% of like, I could live without this, like, you know what I mean? But the not being in control and watching him, it's all varied it varies fight to fight based on what state I'm in, if I'm in camp 2, or if I'm, you know, in a good place mentally, not a good place mentally. But I find it generally harder to watch him than fight myself, but it's a different kind of nervous altogether.
The topic of being a professional fighter is always difficult on the family members, the parents, if you will. You know, mine were extremely supportive. I know they'd probably prefer me doing almost anything else, just it's coming from love, of course they do. But they also know that I'm doing this at a very high level because I take it very seriously and I give it my all, and I think that's how they brought me up, was they taught me that if you're going to do anything, you know, at least give it all you have, and that's what I've done. I've moved my life over here in Ireland, training at a world-class facility under a world-class coach, and you know, this has been the natural evolution of my career, and will see me blossom into the fighter that I can be.
Winning the career back to the top. Brad Katona, Superman Katona.
You should fight for Brave. See, I drew that.
Yeah, that's Katie's sketching of
Hamza.
Chimiev.
Yep, I drew that randomly, and it took like 3 main lines, and there he was.
Yeah. She's not an artist.
No,
yeah,
but
no.
I think he turned out quite well.
Yeah, so he's on our to-do list because, as you can see, it's pretty empty. Basically, anything that Chimiev does,
Yeah.
we'll try to do that. You know.
That wasn't even intentional.
Yeah.
I just thought he worked out so well.
Yeah. What's that?
It was my favorite one. I did like a series of fighters I drew, and they were all just good enough to figure out who they were, but bad enough to make it funny. So he was my favorite one.
I'm hoping.
I like a few.
I
haven't had him for a while. You know?
Brad's very particular, so whatever he can have control of and do it to the best of his ability, he'll make sure he does it. He just does what's best for us as a team, and I have to be ready for kind of that different shift in mindset where it's not as relaxed and jokey, but even at times it can be. So I just have to be patient and know, you know, that he takes this probably more seriously and professionally than anyone I've ever met. So it just gets to a different game time, and I think I'm getting better and better at it, being there for him. It wasn't always perfect, but it's good now.
While there seems to be no bad blood in the main event, the same cannot be said of the co-headliner for BRAVECF 57. The history between Mohammed Fakhreddin and Mohammed Saeed Malam starts in Bahrain almost a year ago.
Double champ is coming, baby. Let's go!
1, 2, 3, Viva Algeria.
Main event of the evening.
They were scheduled to face off for the vacant light heavyweight championship at BRAVECF 50. However, a last-minute illness by the middleweight champion Fakhreddin scratched the bout.
Training hard for a long time for this fight, so now he's here. Mohammed Fakhreddin is not here. He has been sick, but it's not his problem. So now he just expects to get the belt because he's here, ready to fight. Where is Fakhreddin?
An incensed Saeed Malam went up to the cage and explained his frustration. Then, the tensions escalated. On social media, they exchanged trash talk, each time ramping up the stakes. It developed into a full-blown rivalry that was supposed to be decided in Italy. At BRAVECF 52, the rivals turned enemies faced off for the first time.
Beautiful technique, and he's, oh, big shot! That is the power that we've been talking about.
Oh, that was to the back of the head, was it?
May have been a little bit of an illegal shot.
Big shots being landed by Mohammed Saeed Malam. And it's over. Mohammed Saeed Malam is the new Brave Combat Federation light heavyweight champion of the world.
At first glance, it was a flawless victory by Mohammed Saeed Malam.
This should be disqualified for the This decision needs to be reviewed, this decision needs to be changed, and this fight needs to be rerun.
أنا كنت متوقع يعني بعد الفايت والكلام اللي هدرت معاه يعني والتصريحات اللي قلتها له باللي يكون يعني قد الكلام اللي هدره هو ويكون راجل يعني احنا من الجزائر بلد الرجال نعرف قيمة الراجل والكلام اللي يهضروا، لكن هو ما فهمش يعني ما على باليش كيما قاعد يشوف الامور. هو حب يلقى حجه باه يعاود الفايت. انا بالنسبه لي لا نكرهه ولا نحبه، ما على باليش به. انا بالنسبه لي انسان هاك، انا اعطيته كثير من الاحترام لكن هو ما يستاهلش الاحترام اللي مديته له. وانا كما نقول ونعاود 11 مارس ان شاء الله راح نعمل نهايه لهذه القصه ان شاء الله، هذا الفيلم المدبلج.
However, upon review, the Italian MMA Commission decided to make the fight a no contest. A few months later, and they meet again. The bad blood is undoubtedly still there, and aided by a disagreement over the decision to turn the fight into a no contest.
أنا جاتني يعني مفاجأة، مش غير أنا يعني الجمهور، الناس الرياضيين، المدربين، السبارينج اللي يعني بقرار اللجنة الإيطالية بهذا يعني القرار يعني حذف الحزام وحذف الفايت وعمل يعني قرار غريب جدا بعد 3 أسابيع يعني من الفوز على الفايت واخذ الحزام ووضع يعني الفيديو على اليوتيوب والناس كله تفرجت هذا الفايت والناس كانت متقنعة. صحيح في ضرب ورا الراس، الحكم يعني عمل الشغل ديالو، عمل لي انذار حذاري ما ضربش ورا الراس، وانا خلصت عليه في الجراند باوند وفايت خلص وفزت. بعد 3 أسابيع يعمل شكوى وإيطاليا غيروا النتيجة. يعني هذا ظلم بالنسبة لي، ظلم وما عندهمش حق. يعني الحاجة اللي عملوها ما يعني مستحيل تعمل في عالم الأمامي. هذا قرار حكم أخذه ومعلش ربي ينصرنا إن شاء الله.
And at BRAVECF 57, they will meet again with the same title on the line, but increased expectations.
My response to him carrying his that piece of metal around is childish and stupid. I don't see how do you carry a piece of metal around and saying you're a champion when you were never crowned a champion. The fight was a no contest. You hit me with some illegal blows, and the fight was a no contest. So you were never crowned as champion. I don't get it. I don't get how do you say you're a champion when you're really not.
ان شاء الله يعني بعد ان شاء الله ربي يوفقني ان شاء الله نفوز على الماتش القادم ان شاء الله على فخر الدين. يعني الحزام وعندي يعني حنرجع به المنزل وان شاء الله يعني احافظ عليه الماكسيموم من الوقت يقعد عندي الحزام وحدافع هذا الحزام الى اخر يوم في حياتي.
My training has always been the same. I only brought few wrestlers into this camp, and that will help me. I know his striking is not on the same level as mine. He's probably a better, bigger, stronger guy, but like when it comes to wrestling, so I brought guys that are his size, and I brought one of the guys that has beat him in the past, and he's been helping me for this camp.
Preparation has been amazing, keeping him sharp, making sure he doesn't get too excited. Just this camp, we focused on his technique more than his power. You know, he's a very strong guy, but I think the first fight anyways, he was winning. Just, you know, the sport is unpredictable and whatever happened, but this fight I think he will show up much better, time everything, and he'll pick this guy apart.
2 stars in their nations, 2 symbols of combat sports in the Middle East. For Fakhreddin and Saeed Malam, this means everything.
There's no other way. I'm gonna win this fight. There's no betting. I'm not betting on anything. I know I'm gonna win.
فخر الدين حضر نفسك مليح. ان شاء الله هذه المرة ما خليك حتى حجة وما تلقى حتى سبب لا حكم لا لكم ورا الراس. ان شاء الله ربي يوفقني ونقضي عليك هذه المرة.
The shade you throw
On March 11th, a historic event takes over the Kingdom of Bahrain. BRAVECF 57 will be a celebration of the sport with more than a dozen nations represented. 3 title fights, fierce rivalries, world-class mixed martial arts, and an all-star cast of the best fighters from across the globe. A truly international fight card presented by the truly global promotion. In the main event of the evening, Kuhiji plans to bring unprecedented glory to Bahrain with the kingdom's first ever professional world championship in combat sports. He takes on Brad's Superman Katona, who is ready to play the spoiler away from home.
This is what I've been after. This is what I've been saying that I deserve. I deserve to be recognized as world class, and I'm going to show that.
I think this time Hamza will come to the cage with the best shape in his life.
I see Brad either dominating him and finishing him early, or dominating him bell to bell for the full 5 rounds.
Who do you think's going to feel the pressure more? You, in front of your home crowd, or Brad coming into hostile territory?
My name is Hamza, so I am named after one of the greatest warriors in history. And Hamza means lion. So to tell me about pressure, I don't feel pressure. I only feel confidence. I only feel I want to hunt someone. Since I was young, I never feel pressure. I only feel like hunting.
Is he the superior fighter?
In the co-main event, a battle for the ages as arch-enemies Mohammed Fakhreddin and Mohammed Saeed Malam rematch with the vacant light heavyweight title on the line.
الماتش الفايت اللي فات يعني كانت مفاجأة يعني الفخر الدين والمدربين تاعو والجمهور تاعو. إن شاء الله هذا الماتش حتكون مفاجأة أخرى من نوع آخر ليه هو ومدرب تاعو والجمهور.
What's going to be different that I'm going to be smarter in this fight, and I'm going to get him.
The 4 men involved in the biggest battles of the evening might have different motivations, but their goals remain the same: to be the very best in the world. At BRAVECF 57, these men have the opportunity of a lifetime. Who will take it?